Mr. President, I'm here today to talk about the Iran nuclear deal. As you know, this is a flawed deal. As you also know, Congress is going to require you to verify whether Iran is complying with the deal next month. Now, verifying compliance is a tactical issue. What we need is a broader policy. And I'm going to recommend a policy today that I call renegotiate, pressure, and abide. Essentially, we're going to abide by the strict terms of the deal, but turn up the heat on Iran in all the ways not covered in the deal, with the goal of forcing Iran to the table to renegotiate a better agreement. Before I get to the policy, however, let me remind you why this is a flawed deal. This deal allows Iran a large uranium enrichment program, essentially a nuclear fuel-making capability, with limits to be sure, but these limits expire after 8 years. Once these limits expire, Iran will have a rapid path to the bomb, and even strong supporters of the deal, Democrats in Congress, our European allies, agree that we need follow-on negotiations to address the flaws in the deal, and that's exactly what this policy will do. The first element of the policy is renegotiation. To begin, we need to lay out our goals. What we should be aiming for is to allow Iran to have a peaceful nuclear program, if that's really what it wants, but to dismantle its uranium enrichment program altogether. This is a fair compromise. The vast majority of countries on Earth with peaceful nuclear programs don't enrich their own uranium. We should also seek to limit Iran's ballistic missile program, prevent it from developing an ICBM capable of reaching the United States. Now, the second element of the policy is pressure. Iran's not going to agree to new limits out of the goodness of its heart. We know that historically they only respond to pressure. So we're going to have to increase the pressure on Iran in all of the ways not covered in the deal. New ballistic missile tests, new human rights violations, new support for terrorism. We can put in place new sanctions. We can work with our partners in the region to develop a country-by-country approach to countering Iran's destabilizing influence in the region. We can make clear that we have a credible military option on the table to address Iran if it tries to break out and build nuclear weapons. All of these steps will help us to build the pressure on Iran and get them interested in coming back to the table to discuss the nuclear deal. The third part of the policy is abide. Now, this might seem counterintuitive, but I recommend we abide by the strict terms of the deal for now. The reason is, to build pressure on Iran, we're going to need support of Democrats in Congress. We're going to need support of our international partners. If we tear up the deal now or decertify Iranian compliance, we risk losing that support. And we always retain the option of decertifying Iran in the future. And in fact, the leverage of future decertification may even be more valuable than doing it now. Now, where does this policy get us? Well, it leads to 3 possible outcomes, all of which are superior to the status quo. First, even if we can't address the nuclear issue at all, we'll have put pressure on Iran, we'll counter their other destabilizing activities in the region. Second, it's possible the Iranians will say, hey, this isn't what we bargained for in this deal, we're pulling out of the agreement, in which case we'll have the international legitimacy to go to Congress, to go to the rest of the world, and snap back the nuclear-related sanctions, putting serious pressure on Iran and forcing them back to the table. Third and finally, it's possible the Iranians, with the pressure building, will ask us what they can do to get out from under this pressure. We'll be willing to renegotiate the deal. And if we can dismantle Iran's enrichment program or put serious longer-term limits on the program, you will have achieved your campaign promise of renegotiating the deal, and the international community will have achieved its goal of stopping, not merely delaying, Iran's nuclear program. Now, Mr. President, it's up to you.